David Lewis Lubongoya, and this is the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform. You can call it People Power. Yes, because National Unity Platform came from People Power. He just put up an interesting article about our comrade Sir Dan Magic, who is still in jail in Chitalia for doing nothing. Actually, his only crime is associating with People Power, is associating with the Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. His only crime is to, fight for a better Uganda. David Lewis said, on 1st December 2020, I got a phone call at about 1 p.m. Our campaign team had yet again been attacked as they headed towards Jinja for a campaign meeting. At first, I thought it was one of those daily attacks that had come to define our campaign trail until I saw pictures of Dan Magic. It was a bloody day. He had been hit with a projectile which smashed his face. After receiving first aid at a private clinic, Dan Magic was placed in an ambulance together with ASP Kato, the police officer who was hit on the same day. We rushed to hospital and prepared to receive them in Kampala. The doctors quickly got to work. It was discovered that Dan Magic had lost a tooth and the others were shaking. His fingers had been badly hit and damaged. I saw him writhe with pain as the surgeons worked on stitching his wounds. He could not speak or eat for a few days. The days that followed were between home and hospital. Anyone would have taken it easy. It was already too much sacrifice. 2 weeks later, I was joining the campaign team on the Western Uganda leg. Dan Magic insisted on going with us. We tried to persuade him that he needed to first heal, but his heart was on that trail. We had also made an appointment with an orthodontist to look at his teeth and fix them. But as dangerous as it was, Dan Magic badly needed to be back there. As a compromise, we agreed he would spend a few days on the trail and return to Kampala for review. He agreed. His favorite line was, and still is, "We are removing a dictator." Well, we traveled with him to the west and covered several districts. After a week on the trail, it was time to return to Kampala, and I reminded him of the need to go for review and get his teeth fixed. At that time, he would have none of that. Reuniting with Comrades had been enough medicine for him. All he wanted was to re-energize the team with his physical presence despite his pains. He never left the campaign team after that. On 30th December, he would report to Magere at 6 a.m. where the team was setting off from before heading to Karangala. That day, he was arrested with the entire campaign team, taken through horrendous experience and eventually taken to Chitalia, where he has spent the past 90 days. Like hundreds others, Dan Magic is paying a price for being friends with the Honorable Kyagulanyi and for believing that Uganda deserves better. As a super talented music producer, he could have chosen any other path, but he chose the path of freedom and democracy. I celebrate him today and pray that God grants him the desire of his heart to see our nation free. Nateka ku hashtag bring back our people. Free political prisoners, Uganda. Yes, of course, he also attached a number of photos. You remember that day when sound bombs were thrown at our campaign team? That is in Busoga region. That day was a bloody day. Today, actually, someone sent me photos that used it to define the campaign trail on a daily basis. The tear gas, the sound bombs, the bullets, and all that kind of thing. Looking at those photos reminds me all those days. Guys, there is a lot on the menu for us to accomplish. And yes, actually, even today, a few hours ago, the president himself came out and said, today marks 90 days since members of my campaign team were arrested in Kalangala, tortured and eventually dumped at Kitalia. I have seen this picture and remembered the hell we went through each day on that campaign trail. These comrades braved the most cruel circumstances. They withstood bullets, sound bombs, tear gas, grenades, batons, pepper spray, etc. As the violence and the violent cruelty intensified, their resolve only grew stronger because they knew they were not committing any offense. Every struggle for freedom and democracy has its heroes. You comrades are heroes. Uganda will be free. You remember, a lot happened. That was, of course, what our president said, and he also, tagged those photos. Actually, let me share you these photos. Hope you can see them. Those are some of the photos. But of course, you've watched this both in a video, in real time, because we used to broadcast these campaign trails live, and of course, you've witnessed all this during that time. But hey, it's not yet over. That's the fact of the matter. It's not yet over. Only we need to, reorganize ourselves, because yes, elections ended, and of course, they were rigged. But that's not the end of everything. The struggle for freedom is always a series of episodes. The last episode always, it's a victorious episode, because oppressed people, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, oppressed people can never be oppressed forever. There comes a time when all this madness has to come to an end, and that time is not any far from now. It's not any far from now if we wake up to this occasion as Ugandans who want a non-fictional social, economic and political change. And yes, we can do it, because no one is going to do it for us. No single person is going to do it for us. It's only us or us. So guys, there is something I'm working on. I'll come back and we'll discuss it. Have a nice time. Just a simple question for you. When you look at those photos, what comes to your mind when you look at those videos? Because they are still out there. Our comrades that are rotting in jail, they have so far spent more than 90 days in prison. What comes to your mind? I want you to share with me your thoughts in the comment section.